Hello again, my wonderful earth science students. One more video coming at you. I promise this one won't be nearly as long, but we are going to be discussing the 6 steps of nebular theory. Nebular theory is essentially the process that forms stars. So the 6 steps are on the screen for you. We're going to quickly go over them. Make sure you're following along with those guided notes. A few questions to go along with that. And we'll go through our steps. So if we look in the very first step, the red box, we start out as a nebula, which we talked about in the last video, is that cloud of gas and dust. And then that cloud of gas and dust to form a star begins to collapse. And so gravitational forces start to collapse that cloud of gas and dust towards the center. And as that's happening, it also begins to flatten out and begins to spin. We call that the spinning disk phase. And then on to step 2, the green box. As that collapsing is occurring, then we have what we call accretion. Accretion is kind of an important word that we want to cover. It basically means the gradual accumulation of matter. So that's basically a process of growth due to the slow accumulation of matter. So all of that matter is being pulled towards the center, and we have the accretion going on, causing it to gradually grow bigger and bigger and bigger, creating that protostar in the center. And then step 3, our orangish colored box, like we talked about in our last notes also. Once fusion begins, it is no longer a protostar and becomes an actual star, like our sun is currently. And so fusion starts occurring. We talked before our hiatus about how when fusion is happening, it creates solar winds, those charged particles being emitted by the star because of fusion. So when that happens, and this is an important part, also the biggest part of this step is those solar winds are sweeping away the lighter materials. So the light gases and the light dust get swept to the outskirts of the solar system. And then only the heavier, denser materials stay closer to the sun or to the stars. And that's what gives us the arrangement of planets that we see. So our closer planets, the 4 closer planets are small and rocky planets made out of that heavier, denser material that was too heavy to push to the outskirts of our solar system. So that's the purple box. We have accretion of that material, creating our smaller planets up close. So the bigger clumps have more gravity, and so that would pull smaller clumps to it, and that's what made our planets. And then our blue box, at basically the same time, the outer planets were forming by the same method, only they had less heavy materials to form from. We had but a lot of light gases and dust, and so they became those gas giant planets that were formed from all that lighter material that got pushed to the outskirts by that solar wind. And then once accretion slows down, then we're left with our planets and our sun in the middle of our solar system, and the larger planets orbiting around it with the moons. Okay, hopefully you enjoyed this amazing video and have some fun.